Political analyst and Middle East commentator Tom Gross. Mr. Gross, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Mr. Gross, let's start with the basics. How significant is this moment in Israel's political and military trajectory, and what message does a potential full takeover of Gaza send?
Well, potentially it's very significant. This war's been going for 22 months, almost 2 years, and I think the message is from Netanyahu that it's over for Hamas. Look, it's long been said that you can't put out a fire 90%. If you put out a fire 90%, then the fire will rekindle and grow again. If you look at other wars, most famously World War II, Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, they were defeated. The Allies didn't leave the Nazis in control of part of Germany to regroup and get strong again, which might happen with Hamas. There would be new tunnels, new rockets, new kidnappings. So the message Netanyahu wants to send is it's game over for Hamas.
Mm-hmm. We know that the IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir and other military officials have reportedly warned against this move. What are their main concerns, and how seriously are they being taken within the political leadership?
Well, Israel is very divided, including the Security Cabinet itself. I think the main arguments against a full occupation, first of all, from an Israeli point of view, first of all, Israel is already very stretched militarily. In the West Bank, it's unclear yet about the situation with Lebanon and Syria, also with Iran and the Houthis in Yemen. It's easier going in than getting out when you have an occupation. How are the hostages going to get out? What's going to happen? So, it's not quite clear what it's meant by a full occupation. Is this something lasting a few days? Or is this something like before 2005, where Israel fully occupied Gaza?
So if the cabinet approves a full takeover, what would that actually look like on the ground in Gaza, militarily and administratively?
Well, in Hebrew, they're using a word kibush, which has multiple interpretations. It could mean, a short military operation, or it could mean everything for full Israeli control, including revived Jewish settlements, as they were in the past, the civilian settlements. I don't think that's going to happen, even though some on the far right want to resettle Gaza with Jewish settlements. I doubt very much that's going to happen. 90% of Israelis are very against that happening. There could be advantages of full Israeli control. You're showing pictures right now of food distribution. Israel says it will be easier to distribute food if it has full control over Gaza. At the present time, the UN, in collaboration with Hamas, controls some of the food. Israel controls other parts of the food. And this means there are severe shortages in some parts, though not all parts, of Gaza. So some say that if the occupation is short-term, it could actually improve life for Gazans. One more thing I might add, there are reports of Egyptian soldiers preparing some kind of supportive force to go into Gaza and help distribute food and keep control along with the IDF after the defeat of Hamas.
Mr. Gross, what might be the long-term strategic goals for Netanyahu's government with this decision? Is this about eliminating Hamas completely or something broader?
Well, Israel definitely wants to eliminate Hamas completely. Both the Israeli government and opposition do not want to be living next to a jihadi terror group any more than, let's say, Iraqis or Syrians want to be living next to ISIS, or the United States want to be living next to Al-Qaeda. The big question is not eliminating Hamas, which almost every Israeli and indeed most Arab and Western governments support. The big question is, what will fill the vacuum in Gaza administratively, not just from a security point of view? Will it be the Palestinian Authority, which rules in the West Bank? Will it be some international administration? Will it be some new self-governed Gazan Palestinian administration? And Netanyahu has not made clear what his thoughts are on the matter, and this is the big question.
So how is the Israeli public reacting to the prospect of a total takeover? Are we seeing political divisions or societal pushback?
Well, there are lots of divisions from former military and security and intelligence figures, including at least one former head of the Mossad and at least one former head of the Shabak, another of the intelligence agencies. They say that it can't work, that Israel needs to get out, that they have achieved all that can be achieved militarily. Israel should not entangle itself in Gaza any further. But others say those are exactly the same people that underestimated Hamas in the first place and didn't realize that Hamas were building up a massive arsenal in Gaza from which to attack Israel. But we've been seeing demonstrations against the government in recent days, and I suspect those anti-government demonstrations will be even bigger if, as expected, Prime Minister Netanyahu announces a full occupation.
Mr. Gross, regionally, how might such a move impact Israel's relations with key actors, Egypt, Jordan, and the Gulf states, and even Turkey?
Well, I don't think any Arab government, apart from maybe Qatar, wants Hamas to stay in power, because Hamas is the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, which started in Egypt, and there are branches of the Muslim Brotherhood which are severely repressed in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, and elsewhere, because those governments or regimes fear a Muslim Brotherhood takeover in Egypt or Jordan or other countries. So they don't want a Hamas victory, but I don't think they want Israeli control either. Look, I'm not quite sure what they want.
And finally, Mr. Gross, if the cabinet does approve this plan, what do you expect will happen in the immediate days and weeks that follow?
Well, the IDF already controls about 70% of Gaza. So it's not a question of controlling a lot more territory overground. But, you know, there's an entire city, a kind of metro network that Hamas has constructed underground, which is said to be bigger even than a huge metro, a huge subway like the London Underground, the tube system in London. So the war may go underground because there's still big rocket supplies there that Hamas are holding on, and that, of course, is where the hostages are held. So even an occupation overground won't suddenly end the war. There are still thousands of Hamas fighters and lots of weapons underground.
Tom Gross, thank you very much for sharing your insights with us and on this complex and rapidly evolving issue. We truly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.